be here. I've been associated with Energia for a very, very long time. And as I was sitting here, I realized that we have done almost as many as 5 projects in India of various types. And each of them have led to some very interesting outcome. And I thought that some of that also I will cover. I come from Integrated Research and Action for Development, which is the national focal point for Energia. And we do research projects, training, policy and networking. And our focal area is energy systems, policy planning, poverty and gender, climate change, urban development, etc. And the IRADE's efforts in gender for most all of them, in fact most of them are with Energia, and they deal with large-scale surveys, dissemination workshop, policy advocacy, which we did with Planning Commission. Also with CSD we had done some work, Gail is here, and WSSD and so on. I can recall, I mean there have been many things, but these 5 things: hardship for women in gathering fuels, because we talk about indoor air pollution, but when you look at it, the full fuel chain is something very different. And we found this is published in a very high-level journal of energy policy. And then in Planning Commission, we had a meeting for mainstreaming gender, which was putting that integrated energy policy. Gender audit for renewable energy is also the subject now. And I'm on the Prime Minister's Climate Council, Climate Change Council in India. And we have, for that Climate Council, 8 national missions, and Green India mission is one of them. And we wrote some pieces about how to put the gender into Green India mission, also through Energia. Significance of energy access for women is mainly the drudgery part, how many people collect, this is for the survey results, 42% from 1 kilometer, and all the remaining 58% are 2 kilometers and going as far as much as 5 to 6 kilometers. This is a state in which fuel was not as inaccessible in the Himachal Pradesh even then. Now we were talking about male, female, gender roles and so on. And here you can see that when the inferior fuels are there, like dung cake, agriculture residue, and as you go from inferior fuel to more superior fuel, the role of male goes up and the role of female goes down. And that you can see in both, in 2 cities, sorry, this one, and the age group was for that, okay, 4% male did something of that, but they were 57 years old. Agriculture residue, some male did collect, but I think this is a mistake, it's 49. And then women are always younger and would that way. And then older men did some of this, but then younger men are more interested in clean fuels of this type. So health impacts, as I said, we have heard about indoor air pollution, but let's look at some other ailments from collection of fuels. That they get backache, neckache, headache, bruises. This is the work published in Energy Policy, where we have shown in two separate villages, this is a 100 household survey, that how many people get what kind of ailments, and bruises is very high, and also animal snake encounters, burning eyes is a full thing, of course, and coughing from the air pollution. So air pollution ranks about similar to some of these headache or biofuel bruises. So altogether you should see the whole chain. First you search and collect biomass by walking and cutting. That has a health impact. And you should then bring fuel wood closer. That's the solution. Or have fuel wood plantation near to the where women live. So, and this particular suggestion we have followed up in number of ways later. Processing and stacking, bundling and drying are the activities, and that results into a lot of allergies, chapped hands, and the solutions are clean fuels, transportation of heavy loads, backache, headache, knee pain, and so on. And cooking, of course, indoor air pollution is quite well known. So these were the significance of energy access for women. Other key issues are that nearly 3 billion days are spent in gathering fuels, 700 million days in processing them, 800 million days spent due to diseases, and 12 billion days to fetch water and water-related diseases. I mean, this is a separate, water is not there. So we asked women, would you like to use clean fuel or renewable energy? Of course, 82% said yes. And why? Because it's convenient, that's the 18%, but time saving, people think that rural women have no value for their time, but they do. And cleaner households, 36%, easy accessibility, 7%. But when they said no, well, they found it is expensive was the main reason, so it is not really no, but they could not afford it. The place is too far, supply is inadequate, and so on. So people sometimes say women like it, or they like the taste, or they do it for driving away mosquitoes. We did not find too much evidence of that. In some villages there were 3 to 4%, 2% did say that, but it doesn't show in the overall surveys. What would they like to do? Well, first is a window ventilator came the first, then fitting a chimney, installation of improved cook stoves, switch to clean fuel, and so on. So more doors. So in some sense, when you do window and ventilators, it improves the quality of the house also, and that seems to be. So we normally think of improved stoves, but we should expand our horizon and include other things. So then the second work we did for Energia was gender audit for renewable energy. And there we did some methodological work. I just met Joyce Clancy. She's saying she's using this as a model. But where we looked at 4 levels of, so not at all relevant for women, photovoltaic solar. I mean not solar itself, but it was a research in solar, so, and they were not involved. If it's relevant partially for women, it would be wind power. When sometimes it's so both for men and women, which can be rooftop solar, but especially for women is another. So we try to rating. Now gender audit was not a preferred word by the policymakers. In some sense they are right that what gives us right to audit, and audit is a very serious word in accounting sense. So we called it rating. So we had the rating system. If it is N, P, S, like that we went. So how do you go from not at all to partially, partially to both, and both to specially? So, and those who went further, we gave them more rating, higher rating was given. And this was done for every program, biogas, wind, solar, and we had a big table, but I have no time to discuss that now. But basically, earlier we thought we could have 3 levels. Beneficiary, whether the use of public funds should go to all, including women, or next even better is engagement, whereas masons, carpenters, income generation, and many other kind of engagement can be there through capacity building. That was not so high, so we had to do only the first step, and even the first step didn't do that well. In decision making, whether they are women ministers or women administrators, are they there in public sector, because energy is quite often in the public sector area, especially electricity, oil, gas, and so on. And even village administration, they can be village heads and so on. So, but this level is not yet as high as it should be. So what is worse is that year after we looked at this 91, 2001, 2004, survey after survey. These are national census. This is census means really, it's very detailed. Millions of households are surveyed, and you could see that wood shares persists. They had added category of crop residue, so from here it went to there. But basically that same share persists of wood using households. Of course, LPG households went up a bit. 8 million households became 8% households became 18 and 22%. But they also use wood. This LPG, people don't, it's not 100% LPG, they do partial LPG. That is why we have so many, the progress is very, very slow. And that you can see in this graph of all three things, that basically we are, considering how India is growing economically, these percentages are not good enough. Electricity, things are a little better. You have availability from 42% went up to 56 and 65. But even there, when you go to individual households, villages may be electrified, but individual households might be electrified, but they may not get the electricity more than 2 hours a day, etc. So one can do some regression analysis. What determines use of clean cooking fuels? First is increase in household income. Second is average education. Households in great number of literate females. Major occupation is non-agriculture, because agriculture itself gives you biomass. So people, even though they are rich households, they sometimes use agriculture, and so on. So one can do this kind of analysis. I just wanted to flag one more issue, which is I'm also on intergovernmental panel on climate change, and we are looking at housing and building and energy and so on. And I find that this is access to modern housing is the similar case as access to modern energy. You could see that the roof materials are bamboo, plastic, and so on. So the real proper modern materials begin on the third line or fourth line. And again here, there are almost 30, so many materials: mud, unburnt bricks, plastics, woods. They are used for wall. And in terms of floor, mud is 57%. So altogether, when you add up, you can see here the percentage share. Pakka is the Indian word for proper, and kacha is not improper, but not modern. And you could see that quite a lot of things that to be covered. A huge gap has to be covered. Now, biomass and biomass also for housing. So there is some similarity with the energy seen here. And I thought that some of the methodologies we are using may have some relevance here too. And maybe this is one more. This morning she was saying we should involve more things and connect with more things. So here is one more thing that is still needs some attention. So I will just quickly go to the recommendation. There were some. So bring cooking fuel to rural women within 1 kilometer. That was the thing we wrote in integrated energy policy by identifying problem districts, blocks, and villages. Women's suggestions for needed solutions. We also did for a small sum, 2-3 villages where Karnataka women said we can do with coconut waste, and Rajasthan women said some local varieties. So women group can form tea growing cooperatives for fuel wood, and these groups can identify land and the species of plants. And the same time they are spending in collecting wood now can be spent near to their homes, and transportation can be avoided. Also, women's role as energy managers, biodiesel plantation, charcoal briquette production, installation of biogas plants, gasifier systems, So I think we should move now to the energy manager post from beneficiaries and micro enterprises and go beyond cooking energy. So also when we were discussing this in the planning commission, they said let's have some energy related goals. 50% reduction in unelectrified clinics, 50% reduction in unelectrified schools, and this is the kind of summary that came up with that meeting. And so there are also suggestions for doing market-based approach, going out from subsidy mindset, and mechanisms that can assist women, access to credit, energy for livelihood, and so on. So role of financial institutions. So widen access to rural electrification can lead to many new types of livelihoods that they are not currently practiced. And now fuel, water and electricity is the political demand for most people, but fuel and cooking fuel is also a need. We had written some articles in the newspaper also regarding this, that women manage 1/3 of the energy sector, but yet they do not get investment, management or technology, no political or administrative backing. These women as suppliers or managers need to be helped without taking this role away from them, and instead provide them with IMT and improve their lives. Thank you.